extra graduating. Thank you so much for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class. To start with Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamira Yamuna Tira Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna dear devotees, thank you so much for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we will be reading from 4, Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse number 52. 4852. We shall recite. एवं भगवतो रूपम् एवं भगवतो रूपम् सुभद्रं ध्यायतो मनः सुभद्रं ध्यायतो मनः निर्वृत्य परया तूर्णम् निर्वृत्य परया तूर्णम् सम्पन्नं न निवर्तते सम्पन्नं न निवर्तते एवं भगवतो रूपम् सुभद्रं ध्यायतो मनः निर्वृत्या परं परया तूर्णम् सम्पन्नं न निवर्तते एवं भगवतो रूपम् सुभद्रं ध्यायतो मनः निवृत्या परया तूर्णम् सम्पन्नं न निवर्तते word to word evam thus bhagavata of the supreme personality of Godhead rupam form subhadram very auspicious dhyayata meditating mana the mind nirvratya being freed from all material contamination paraya transcendental to turnam very soon sam sampannam being enriched na never nivartate come down. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. One who meditates in this way, concentrating his mind upon the always auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contamination, and he does not come down from meditation upon the Lord. Purport. The fixed meditation is called samadhi or trance. A person constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord cannot be deviated from meditating on the form of the Lord, as described herein. The Archana Marga or the devotional path prescribed in the Pancharatra system of the devotional service for worshipping the deity in the temple make devotee makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord, that is samadhi or trance. One who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord, and that makes him perfect in the mission of human life. Once again, the translation. One who meditates in this way, concentrating his mind upon the always auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contamination, and he does not come down from meditating upon the Lord. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगना श्रीविशाखान् हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपति गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते नमामि हरि वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्रीवासादि गौर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात् करोति Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class. I seek blessings from all the devotees who are present in person and online. Also, I seek blessing from my spiritual master and Yugal Kishore Prabhuji and everybody else so that I can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and in that way I will able to attain at least some sincerity towards performing devotional service. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today is also auspicious day, Shivratri. So coincidentally, today in this verse, Narad Muni is speaking to Dhruv Maharaj about how auspicious the form of the Lord is. If you meditate on this form of the Lord, you will never come down to this material contamination, and then you will always be in the trance, in the samadhi. So even Lord Shiva is called auspicious because Shiva means auspicious. Why he is auspicious? Now we can understand. Because he always meditate on the form of the Lord. He will always meditate on the Lord. He never deviate from meditating on the Lord from the Lord. If you ask Lord Shiva, what are you doing? He will say, my only business is to think about Lord. I am thinking about his pastimes. I want to somehow or other enter in his pastimes, and for that I pray intensely to the Lord, and that's what he prayed. We know that in Vrindavan he wanted to enter in the pastime of Ras Leela, and he prayed to gopis, and then they gave him form Gopeshwar Mahadev. So Lord Shiva always want to be in the pastimes of the Lord, at least by remembering the pastimes of the Lord. In the purport, Prabhupada said that we should all constantly be engaged in thinking of the Lord and constantly and never deviate from the service of the Lord. And that will make our mission of the life perfect. So, what happened today on the Shivratri day? So, there were so many pastimes happened on the Shivratri day, but the one pastime which happened was Samudra Manthan pastime. So on this day, when Devtas and Danavas, demigods and demon, came together for like they had their own greed for coming and doing Samudra Manthan, that they wanted the nectar which will come from Samudra Manthan by churning of the ocean. But little did they knew that before that there will be a dangerous substance called halahal will come out from the Samudra from some from the ocean by churning. Before this, so many things happened, like they wanted uh, they wanted they went to the Lord that they were defeated, and and then Lord said that the only way you can get back your yash or uh, your glory is by doing this Samudra Manthan. And for this, you have to go and make a friendship with the demons. And then they said, how can we do that? And demons are at good position. We are lost. And why will they heed our plea? Lord said, don't worry. They will they will listen to you. You just tell them what they'll get by doing Samudra Manthan. And then they went and they made friendship only for the sake of getting this nectar from the ocean. And then for that they had to get this uh, Meru Parvat, which is a Meru Parvat, right? Meru Parvat, which is a mountain of gold. And it is said that this Meru Parvat was 10,000 miles long and 10,000 miles wide. And this long and this wide, and it was so huge, so heavy, that it was very difficult for even devtas or demigods to handle it. And when they tried to lift this this Meru Parvat, they they couldn't lift it, and they lost all their strength in lifting this Meru Parvat. And then they remembered the Lord. Lord came on Garuda, and then what did Lord do? Lord just lifted that Meru Parvat and put on the back of Garuda without any difficulty, like how Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill on the pinky finger, that too when he was just 7 years old child. So what is the difficulty for the Lord to lift this Meru Parvat? And then what is the difficulty for Garuda to just keep it on the back? It is said in that pastime that Garuda not only put this Meru Parvat on his back, all the demigods and all the demons were also on his back, and then they all came to the side of Samudra Manthan. And then at that some Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopjan Vallabh Nitapati Pavan Gauri Jagat Vishnu Prabhupada ki. So they all came to the site of the Samudra Manthan. And at that site, when they wanted to churn the ocean, Lord said that snake, what is the name of the snake? Sathai. Vasuki. Yeah, Lord said that Vasuki will be a rope, will become a rope, and you can use Vasuki to churn the ocean, this mountain. And then Vasuki was a snake, so he had so many hoods, and I forgot the count. I don't know exact count, thousand hoods or so many hoods. And then Lord Lord was favoring demigods. Why? Because they are the devotees of the Lord. Lord wanted Lord was not against demons also, but Lord was giving special favor to demigods because they were the devotees of the Lord. And Bali Maharaj was the head of the demons. And Bali Maharaj said, to all the demons. When this Devatas, demigods went to the demons for making the friendship. Demons, as soon as they saw Devatas, they started running behind them to kill them. But Bali Maharaj, because he is a devotee of the Lord, he pacified. He said them, "No, you should not do like this. You follow the etiquette." And because of Bali Maharaj, demons were cooperating. So here, what happened? Lord knew that demons are little cunning by nature, and so Lord said to demigod that you take the side where there are hoods. You hold the side of a Vasuki where there are hoods, and let demons hold the side of the tail. And and here we should learn that demigod did not question anything to the Lord, and whatever Lord said, they accepted it. And then uh, then as usual, the demons thought there is some plan. The demigods have some plan, so they said, no, no, we want to take a head. And they took, and it was a disaster for them, because as when they were pulling Vasuki was releasing fire from his hoods because of the pressure of pulling the mountain. It couldn't bear, and then that is why the he was breathing very heavily, and his heavy breathing came out as a fire, and then it was a disaster for demons. But that is a sidetrack story. But the main point here is when they started churning, and then when they started churning, the mountain fell in the ocean. The mountain itself is like a very huge, and you can see that in the ocean the mountain was looking like just the tip of a pencil. So that much huge the ocean was. And then Lord took the form of Kurma Dev. And then how big the back of Kurma Dev was? 1 lakh square, 1 lakh million wide and long. So that means that this mountain, when it was put on Kurmadev's back, and when they started churning, Kurmadev felt like this mountain was scratching in pleasure on the back of Kurmadev, and Kurmadev fell asleep by this mountain scratching on the back. So that is the glory of the Lord. And also, Jai Shri Radha. And also, Lord took the form of Ajita so that he can sit on the top of the mountain, because when they were pulling the mountain was moving here and there. So there was no weight on the mountain for mountain to be stable. So Lord Ajita with his 1,000 hands, he sat on the top of the mountain, and because when he sat on the top of the mountain was very stable. Then the first thing came, as they started churning for very long time. They started churning. Then the first thing came was halal. Halal is a poison which, by just by the effect of halal, not even drinking, just by the gas coming out of the halal, demigods and demons both started fainting. And if it would have been more longer, they would have lost their life also. Then they ran to again, Lord, what to do, what to do. Lord said, only one person can contain this halal. He is Lord Shiva. Halal, the poison. No, okay, the poison. He is Lord Shiva. So that Lord Shiva, why did Lord said only Lord Shiva can contain, not anyone else? No, this whole story I narrated because of this. That because Lord Shiva is always, as Prabhupada said in this purport, constantly he is always eager to serve the devotees of the Lord. He's always eager to serve the Lord. More than that, he's always eager to serve the devotees of the Lord. And and he's always meditating on the form of the Lord. So he's all auspicious. Whether anything, whether it is harmful to, it looks very harmful for the people out, for outside people. But for Lord Shiva, he have full faith on the Lord. So this shows that whoever you are, whether Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or whoever you are, if you have full faith on the Lord, then you will be taken care, you will be protected. And then when Lord Shiva drank this poison, which it was not just one cup poison, it was ocean full of a poison, and Lord Shiva took it and drank it and contained it in his neck. That's why he's called Neelkant, because he's very fair, but because of that poison in his neck, which he contained here, which he stopped here in the neck, his neck turned into blue. So that is why Lord Shiva is called Neelkant, and this happened on Shivratri day. There is one more pastime happened in Shivratri day, that Lord Shiva got married, got married to Mother Parvati, who was Satin in her previous life. We saw in chapter first to seven, whole episode of Daksha, and how actually third to seven, where Daksha's episode comes, and then how Mother Sati got married to Lord Shiva, and how there was an insult to Lord Shiva by Daksha, and how Mother Sati had to left his body, and then how much chaos happened in the Daksha Yagna. So we have seen all these things, and then after Sati, Mother Sati left her body. She took birth as daughter of Himalaya, and her name was Parvati. And from the childhood, she was attracted to Lord Shiva, and her only aim in her life was to get married to Lord. And so many things happened. Lord Shiva did not wanted to marry anyone else, and he did not wanted to again enter in Grahastha ashram, because he was very much happy in his meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was happy chanting the name of Lord, and he was happy meditating on the Lord. So, but then because then this Tadkasur was there, and he started he took the boon from the Lord, saying that I should never be killed except you. And Lord Shiva said yes, granted. And he knew very well that if we keep worshipping Lord is Ashutosh. Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. So he will be very pleased, and he will not try to kill me. So he was worshipping the Lord, and then and he was one on one hand he was worshipping Lord Shiva. On other hand, he was troubling all the other demigods and everyone else. So it became this whole scenario became very chaos. And then now everybody went to Lord Shiva and pleaded. First they went to Brahma, and then Brahma said only Lord Shiva will not kill him, but Lord Shiva's son can kill him, because son is the representation of father. So only Lord Shiva's son can kill. And then everybody went to Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva did not care to hear them. And then so they sent Kamdev, There is a story how Kamdev came to entice Lord Shiva, but then Lord Shiva killed Kamdev by opening his third eye and burning him to ashes. And then, but still, there are so many pastimes, and then, but later everything came to, like everything was sorted, and Lord Shiva married Mother Parvati, and then Kartikeya was born, and he took the charge and killed Tadka, and he killed Tadkasur. So this, so on Shivratri day, they got married. Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati got married. But the today's verse, how we can connect to Lord Shiva? We have seen, we have seen the description of the Lord. What did Narad Muni say about the description of the Lord? Lord is very beautiful. He's always pleasing, and he's never displeased. He's always smiling. He wears a flower garland, Vajanti Mala, and he's very beautiful. He's more beautiful than any of the demigods. Sur Sundaram. He's very beautiful, and there he have a kapola, broad forehead, and which is very beautiful. And then his eyes and lips are pinkish, like how what kind of pinkish, like the rising sun in the morning, the pinkish color which we see when the sun rises in the morning. So his eyes and lips are that pinkish, and his bodily color is bluish black. Exactly, it looks exactly like how the uh, how that dense clouds above, which are about to shower rain, looks like. His color is exactly like that. And he wears silk, yellow silk cloth, and his whole body is decorated. His eyebrows is decorated, and he wears a kiriti, which is decorated with jewels. He have a bracelet. He have necklaces. He have a belt which has small bells, and also his nails are very much shining, and and he have four hand, and in each hand he have shank, chak, kada, padma, lotus, disc, club, and conch shell. And as Bhagavata Prabhuji yesterday, he was saying that to Padma, lotus, and conch shell is to bestow benediction to the devotees, and club and chakra to is to give punishment to the demons. And this is the form of the Lord. And by meditating on this form, which is ever auspicious, that is what today Narad Muni is saying to Dhruv Maharaj, that one who meditate in this way, concentrating his mind upon the always auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contamination, and he does not come down from meditating upon the Lord. So how, again yesterday it was discussed, like how fortunate those are who knows the form of the Lord and who can meditate on the form of the Lord, and how unfortunate those are those who meditate on impersonal light of the Lord, because they cannot ever in their life get that bliss which a devotee who is meditating on the form of the Lord get that bliss. We see that so many devotees, gyanis, who do austerity, their austerity is compared as, I believe everybody know how a rice come, how a paddy rice rice is taken out from the husk. So the paddy is hit so much on the ground, and the rice is separated and husk is separated. So it is said that the Gyani, this example was given by Sukdev Goswami in Canto 2, Chapter 4. Sukdev Goswami says that the Gyani who doesn't know who doesn't meditate on the form of the Lord, who try to meditate on the light, is like beating that husk from which rice is taken away and trying to take rice from that husk. They beat for 100 years. Still, nothing will come out of it. Only they will do hard work. Simply, it is a hard labor. In the end, they did not get any happiness by beating that husk. And even if and it is there is a saying in Hindi, Khoda pahad nikli chuya, that Gyanis are trying to dig the mountain, but in the end they will not even get the rat. They'll not get anything out of that digging the mountain. So that is that much hard labor they are doing, and they are not getting any happiness in meditating and in their austerity. But devotees who meditate on the form of the Lord, like who do deity worship, or at least come to the temple and look at the form of the Lord and meditate on the form of the Lord, they will, even in the pain, they will get so much happiness. We have so many pastimes, how devotees were suffering in their even in their last moments of their life, but externally it looked suffering, but they were so much happy. We have the famous example, Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. It feels if somebody else who sees Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj, they think that, oh, he is very miserable. But is he really miserable? Actually, he's always meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. It He might show us that he might be miserable, but he's not. If he was, then he used to, instead of traveling all over the world to preach the message of Krishna in this condition of life, he would have comfortably comfortably would have taking a rest on his bed and just counting the days and just chanting, simply chanting and taking rest. But he is not doing like that because he is getting so much happiness. Why? Because he is not impersonal devotee of the Lord. He is bhakti yogi, and because he's bhakti yogi, he's always deriving that happiness. How is the Lord? We have seen that Lord form is ever pleasing, and whoever takes shelter of the Lord, he is ready to give all kind of benediction, and ready to make their life auspicious. And as today we are seeing, whoever constantly meditate on this all auspicious form of the Lord is very soon freed from all material contamination. So why we are suffering in this life? We are suffering in this life only because we think we are the body. And why do we think we are the body? Because we have forgotten our relationship with the Lord, and we have developed our relationship with this body. That same relationship with this and we also have developed the relationship with the people attached to this body, connected to this body. That is why there is so much suffering in this world. If and only if, instead of meditating on our possessions, meditating on our family members, meditating on our youth, meditating on our mundane work, if that same attachment, if that same meditation, if we can dovetail it towards meditating on the form of the Lord, then our life will also become auspicious. Like Lord Shiva, what Lord Shiva possess? He doesn't have anything. He just have a cloth which is made up of a deer skin, and he sit under a tree and just meditate on the form of the Lord. So Do we do any one of us think he's unhappy? No. Who is more happier than the Lord? Lord Shiva. One day, Mother Parvati asked that I need a big home. Everybody have home. I don't have home. So I want a home. So Lord Shiva said, okay, I'll make a home. So he made very big home, which was very nice, beautiful palace. And Lord Shiva invited Ravana as a Purohit to perform a Graha Pravesh. Sorry, to perform Yajna for his new home. And then he performed Yajna so well that Lord Shiva became pleased. And Lord Shiva asked, what do you need? Ravana said, I need this home. And Lord Shiva very happily gave this home and again came back and sat under the same tree and started meditating on the Lord. He did not have any attachment towards that home. So what kind of if and only if Lord Shiva had tinge of attachment to that home, he wouldn't have meditated on the Lord as he's meditating now. He would be miserable. He would have been miserable. So that is what when we attach ourselves, when we start meditating on our possessions and other things, our title, our position, or whatever it is, if we start meditating on it, then we will never able to meditate on this auspicious form of the Lord and will never be satisfied. As we have seen in the previous verses, that all your mind will be satisfied only and only if you meditate on the form of the Lord. There is no other way to be satisfied. And what is again, that is the biggest austerity for the mind. The austerity of the mind is to be satisfied. And how to be satisfied? By meditating on the form of the Lord. And how we can meditate? We have these beautiful deities in the temple. We come here and we meditate on the form of the Lord. We heard the description of Narad Muni. By hearing, we can meditate on the form of the Lord. And by meditating on the form of the Lord, we'll automatically meditate on the pastimes of the Lord. And it will give so much pleasure. How much pleasure it will give us when we meditate that Lord is crawling and Mother Yashoda is and other elderly gopis are watching it and they are taking pleasure in the Lord, in how the Lord is crawling and how Lord is walking with his small hands and small legs. He is a he's giving grains to that vegetable vendor who came to sell fruits and vegetables, and Lord very nicely walking inside the kitchen taking the grains and running and coming out and giving the grains to vegetable vendor, and while running he's all the grains from his hands are falling. How beautiful it will be when we meditate on that pastime of the Lord. And then how beautiful it will be, how beautiful it is when we meditate the Lord when he lifted the Govardhan hill. Everyone were surrounded. Everyone came under the same under the shelter of the Govardhan which Lord was holding, and they were all seeing the Lord for 7 days, and they forgot that there was so much torrential rain is happening outside, and in between Lord is playing the flute, and everybody is so happy to hear that flute, and how beautiful it is when Lord is smiling, and when he's smiling and looking at the devotees, how pleasing it looks when we see his smiling face. So ho- who will get this kind of pleasure? If and only if we know the form of the Lord. This and it's so unfortunate that impersonalists are are staying away from this kind of pleasure, and they think that they are getting some pleasure, but it is not at all giving them any pleasure. They have to they have to fast only to go in the light, but we are fasting so that we can serve the Lord. And in the end, we'll get the remnants of the Lord and we will do feasting. But they'll never, they cannot get the remnants from the light. So that is why they try to seek so much pleasure, but they don't get it. And that's why they come down. And then after coming down, they have to come to the path of bhakti only. And then they'll again they go back to Godhead. Like how we have the example of four Kumaras who were who were thinking that who were floating in the Brahman. They were thinking it was giving them pleasure, but when they came to Vaikuntha Loka and just smell the tulsi leaf, their heart changed and they instantly realize that this pleasure in the Brahman is not even the drop of the ocean of the pleasure which they will get when when they associate with the Lord, when they think about the Lord's form, the pleasure which they get by looking at the beautiful form of the Lord. So that is what Narad Muni is trying to explain to Dhruv Maharaj, that meditate on the Lord in this way, concentrating your mind upon the Lord auspicious form. On this way, you will never come to any material contamination. What material contamination Dhruv Maharaj had? That he wanted a planet higher than planet of his great grandfather Brahma. So that was one material contamination, and that contamination was gone within 6 months. Not within it must have gone within few 1 month only, or what in some time when Dhruv Maharaj started meditating on the form of the Lord. So this is very hope giving. We all are struggling with anarthas, especially speaking about myself, struggling with anarthas. So much left, right, and center anarthas are trying to get me out of this process and trying to show me that there is nothing here. Outside there is so much. And then when I really start thinking, oh, really there is nothing here, then so much torment, so much agitation, so much so much hellish condition of the life I have to experience. But Narad Muni here is saying that please meditate on the Lord, and by meditating on the Lord, you will be freed from all the material contamination. So this is very easy, because it's not very easy for sure, because our mind will oppose. Every moment mind will oppose. Every moment mind will show us the picture of the things which we are attached to in the material world. But if we still ignore it and try to meditate in this way, we'll get rid of all our material content. So that is what I wanted to speak today. Please forgive me if I have spoken anything wrong, and please correct me if there are any corrections. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Do you want to add anything? Halal and halal. Yeah, halal. Oh, I said halal. Halal. Yeah, it's halal. 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 Oh, so Sandeep Prabhu is saying that this Mahashivratri came after 149 years. It's very auspicious. So that is what is. Anyone have any corrections on Zoom or anything to add? If no one have anything, then we'll end here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्रील
Yeah.
प्रभुपाद
So,
की जय
Jai.
थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन